On Christmas morning, my mom punished me by giving all my gifts to my step-siblings, donating the console my dad brought me, and saying I embarrassed her. I walked out, and now she's alone. After losing custody, her marriage, and even the stepkids. Hey, Reddit! My mom always acted like life was a competition she had to win. One Christmas, she went too far, and everything blew up. Family, custody, all of it. Before we get into the chaos, let me start from the beginning. I'm Jason, 15. My parents split when I was 11. It wasn't messy like cops and screaming, but it wasn't friendly either. Dad, Mark, moved into a small apartment across town. Mom, Linda, kept the house. It's a split level with a patchy front lawn and a mailbox that leans a little because some delivery van backed into it a while ago. She works at the library. She met a guy named Steve on some dating app, and 2 years later they got married. That's when he and his kids moved in. Steve's got a son, Ryan, who's 14 and into basketball big time. Always wearing those team hoodies, dribbling a ball in the driveway when it's warm enough. Then there's his daughter, Kaylee, 12, who's on her phone nonstop, mostly TikTok. She props it against cups in the kitchen to film herself doing dances. At first, it felt like a sleepover that wouldn't end. Then it turned into just life. My room is the only space that still feels like mine. Bright blue walls, posters of NBA players taped up kind of crooked old squeaky ceiling fan that rattles on the highest setting. The dresser's scuffed from when I dropped a hand weight on it last summer. Carpet's got stains from spilled Gatorade, and there's a dent in the closet door from when a mini hoop dunk went wrong. Mom keeps saying she wants to neutralize the color scheme so the house feels cohesive. I keep telling her no. That's the hill I'm willing to die on. Day to day, it's crowded but not crazy. Ryan's got practice after school most days, so there's the sound of him rushing in and out, shoes squeaking on the tile, basketball bouncing in the garage even when it's freezing outside. Kaylee camps in the kitchen like she owns it. Tripod in one corner, ring light in another. Her phone blasting songs I hear 100 times because she refilms dances until they're perfect. Steve works construction. He comes home beat, leaves his boots by the door and socks everywhere else. Like seriously, everywhere. Couch, hallway, under the dining table once. I try not to comment. Not my problem. Me, I do my homework at this tiny desk wedged between my bed and the window. It's old and one leg's shorter than the others, so it wobbles when I write too hard. Evenings, I play games online with friends from school. Headset on, door shut, keeps me out of the kitchen chaos. Mom's big thing lately is family unity. Matching pajamas every Christmas, game nights with dollar store prizes, group photos where everyone has to stand in height order. It's not like she asks, she tells. Smiles for the camera but glares if you're not cooperating. It doesn't feel like she cares if we're actually having fun. She wants the picture for Facebook, the proof that we're one big happy family. I usually just go along with it. No energy to fight over stuff that doesn't matter. But it's awkward. Like wearing pajamas you didn't pick out while holding a mug of cocoa you don't even want because mom needs the shot for her scrapbook. Dad's different. He sees me on weekends, picks me up in his dented Honda, takes me to open gyms, diner breakfasts, sometimes the batting cages even though neither of us plays baseball. He talks like a regular person, not like he's delivering lines from a movie about parenting. He doesn't care if I wear pajamas or not. He just asks if school's fine, if I need new shoes, if I'm hungry. Basic stuff, but it feels normal. I'm not some perfect kid. My grades are decent, not honor roll, but not failing. I do my chores, trash on Tuesdays, mow the lawn when it's warm, shovel snow when it's not. Mostly I stay in my room, do school, see dad, hang with friends when I can. The thing with Ryan and Kaylee is, we're civil, but not close. Ryan's fine. He talks about basketball nonstop, but he's not annoying about it. He'll nod at me when he walks past my room, sometimes asks if I saw a game on TV. Kaylee barely talks at all, unless she's asking someone to move so she can film. If you're in the kitchen, she sighs, like you're trespassing on a movie set. Steve tries to be friendly in a dad joke kind of way. Calls me big guy, even though I'm shorter than him by a mile. He doesn't push too hard, which I appreciate, but he also doesn't step in when mom goes off about the family stuff. He just lets it happen. That was life before Christmas. Before the dinner, the comment, the gifts, before all of it blew up. The Christmas Eve started early in our house. By noon, mom was in full event planner mode. Cinnamon-scented candles burning in every room, holiday playlist looping the same 5 songs, table set with those red and green paper plates she gets every year, because she says washing dishes ruins the holiday vibe. She baked a ham, made green bean casserole with those crunchy onions on top, mashed potatoes so thick the spoon stood straight in the bowl, and some store-bought dinner rolls she brushed with butter, like that made them homemade. Steve carried folding chairs up from the basement, while Ryan dragged in the extra table from the garage. Kaylee stayed glued to her phone until Mom snapped at her to at least put out napkins. I was on chair duty too, lining them up so people wouldn't trip over each other when the living room got packed. It wasn't like I had a choice, but I didn't complain. By 5, family started showing up. My grandparents from Mom's side first, bundled up in matching puffy coats, then Steve's parents carrying a grocery store pie in one of those flimsy plastic containers. My Aunt Megan came with her 2 kids, both younger than Kaylee, one already sticky from a candy cane before he even took his boots off. Coats piled on the guest bed like always, shoes lined by the door, cold air blowing in every time someone new arrived. The house got loud fast. Holiday movies playing on the TV no one watched, people talking over each other, kids running up and down the short flight of stairs between the living room and kitchen. I stuck to the edges, making myself useful. Took the trash out when the potato peels started spilling over, refilled the soda bottles on the counter, loaded serving bowls and pans into the dishwasher before Mom noticed the sink filling up. Dinner itself went fine. People passed dishes around, someone spilled gravy. Ryan's basketball coach came up in conversation like 5 times because Steve brings him up any chance he gets. Kaylee scrolled her phone under the table until Mom shot her a look. I kept my head down, ate my food, laughed when people told jokes, nothing dramatic. Mom stood up at the end of the table, holding her glass halfway, like she was about to toast at a wedding. Okay, she said, smiling around the room. Before we wrap up dinner, I just want to say how proud I am of this family. Blended families aren't always easy. It takes love and effort to make everyone feel included, and I'm so grateful we've built new traditions together. Every year we get a little closer. It really warms my heart. People nodded along. My grandma gave a soft, like she was at church. Steve kept smiling that same smile he always had when Mom started talking like this. Big and polite, like someone running for office. Across the table, Kaylee angled her phone toward the tree to snap a picture, while Mom was mid-sentence. Ryan sat there picking at the last bit of ham on his plate. I leaned back in my chair, watching her talk. Same speech as last year. Same matching pajamas, waiting in a bag by the couch. Same forced smiles for pictures she'd stick on the fridge, like proof everything was perfect. When she ended with, "I just love seeing us come together as one family," I said, voice low, not even looking up. Nothing says family like being told to act like one for the camera. Forks paused for half a second. My Aunt Megan smirked into her drink. Somebody at the far end chuckled under their breath. Even my grandma cracked a smile before covering it with her napkin. I just picked up the last piece of roll on my plate and ate it like normal. Mom's laugh came late, tight, a little too high-pitched. "Oh, you," she said, waving her hand like it was no big deal. But her face changed for a second. Quick, but I saw it. Then she clapped her hands. "Okay, pajamas time," she said, all bright again, and handed out the bags like nothing happened. I helped clear plates after that, stacking them so the gravy wouldn't drip on the carpet. Ryan dried while I washed the serving dishes and glasses, loading them into the dishwasher. Steve leaned against the counter, pretending to check his phone, clearly waiting for the work to be done so he wouldn't get roped in. Kaylee filmed a short clip of the tree and the food, flipping her camera fast when she saw me looking. People left in waves after dessert. Leftovers got packed into old butter containers. Kids whined about being tired. Adults dug coats out from the mountain on the bed. Typical holiday exit scene. The whole time, Mom smiled and hugged everyone, thanked them for coming, told them to drive safe. As soon as the door shut behind the last person, she went quiet. Not angry out loud quiet, just that stiff way she wipes the counter like it personally offended her. Ryan disappeared to his room. Kaylee put her earbuds in. Steve scrolled on his phone by the tree until Mom started snapping off lights one by one. I went upstairs, closed my door, and figured that was the end of it. I didn't know Christmas morning was about to get way worse. I woke up to Mom's voice in the hallway. No Merry Christmas, no breakfast smells from the kitchen, just, "Jason, get up, living room, now." It was barely 7 a.m. I threw on a hoodie, headed downstairs. Tree lit, music from the Bluetooth speaker playing soft carols, presents stacked under the branches. Some had my name on them in Mom's curly handwriting. Ryan and Kaylee sat on the couch, still in pajamas, half asleep. Steve leaned against the wall near the TV, arms crossed like he wasn't planning on speaking. He didn't say a word the whole time, probably because it wasn't even his kid and he didn't want to fight Mom in front of everyone. "Stand over there," Mom said, pointing to the corner by the tree. I stood there. She crossed her arms. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone last night." You think that's funny? This morning, you're not opening anything. You're giving your presents to your stepbrother and stepsister. At first, I thought she was bluffing. Then she pointed at the first box with my name on it. I bent down, picked it up, handed it to Ryan. He hesitated, looking at me like he wasn't sure if this was serious, then took it slowly. Next one went to Kaylee, then another to Ryan. One by one. All of them. Hoodie I asked for. Basketball game I'd been hinting at for weeks. Stuff from relatives I hadn't even seen yet. All handed off like I was working a distribution line. Ryan looked more and more uncomfortable every time I gave him one. Kaylee shifted on the couch like she wanted to leave. Mom stood there with her arms crossed, watching like she was checking something off a list. Through the big front window, Mrs. Connolly from across the street walked by with her dog. She slowed down when she saw us through the glass. Me handing gifts to Ryan and Kaylee while Mom stood there. We made eye contact. She didn't smile, just kept walking. I knew before lunch half the neighborhood would hear about it. When the last box was gone, Mom finally spoke. Maybe next time you'll think before you try to humiliate me, she said. Ryan shifted on the couch. Maybe he should still get one thing, he muttered, barely loud enough to hear. Mom snapped her head toward him. Don't start. You two respect me. That's why you get to keep what you got. End of story. Ryan stared at the floor, jaw tight. First time I'd seen him look angry at her. Doorbell rang. Dad stood there holding a Target bag with the new console inside. He'd bought it yesterday and used the bag as lazy wrapping. Hey, bud, he said, stepping in. Merry Christmas. Mom's face tightened. What's that? Something he's been wanting, Dad said, handing it toward me. Mom blocked it with her arm. No, he doesn't deserve it. Dad frowned. What? He humiliated me yesterday, she said. You don't get to show up twice a month and play hero. Dad kept his voice even. It's Christmas. This is my house, she shot back. My rules. Ryan and Kaylee froze. Steve didn't move from the wall. Dad looked at me, then back at her. So you took every gift he had, and now this? You serious? Mom folded her arms tighter. Actions have consequences. Ryan cleared his throat. I can give the game back, he said, quiet. It doesn't feel right. Mom spun on him. Don't feed the drama, she snapped. It's done. Ryan leaned back on the couch, lips pressed tight. Dad pulled his phone out and hit record. Go ahead, he told her. Say it again. She glared at him. You heard me. He slid the phone back in his pocket without another word. Mom grabbed the console off the table. I'm donating this, she said. Dad stepped forward. Linda, come on. She cut him off. I'm not letting him think he can disrespect me and still get rewarded. She grabbed her keys, walked out, and shut the door hard. Ryan stared at the floor. This whole thing's messed up, he muttered. Dad looked at me. Get your stuff, he said quietly. I went upstairs, grabbed clothes, school Chromebook, charger, sneakers, stuffed them in my backpack. It wasn't careful packing, just fast. By the time I came back down, Mom still wasn't home. Kaylee sat with her knees pulled up, phone in her hands, not recording this time. Ryan didn't look at me, just kept his eyes on the floor like he was thinking hard about something. Ready? Dad asked. Yeah, I said. We left before Mom came back. At Dad's place, he cleared space in the spare room for my stuff. Room was small, walls bare, blinds crooked, but it was quiet. You hungry? He asked. Not really, I said. He nodded. Didn't push. My phone buzzed nonstop. Group chat blowing up. Couple friends texting. Heard what happened. You good? Ryan messaged me. She shouldn't have done that. Kaylee posted a picture in the hoodie that was supposed to be mine. Comments already rolling in. Eek. First full day at Dad's apartment felt weirdly quiet. It's a 2-bedroom on the 3rd floor above a laundromat. You can hear the dryers through the floor sometimes. A dull hum like faraway thunder. My room was the empty one. He moved a futon in from storage and said we'd figure out the rest later. That morning, Dad brought in some groceries. Milk, bread, eggs, nothing fancy. He asked if I wanted to paint the walls. I told him maybe green or gray. He said we'd hit the hardware store next week. Around noon, my phone started buzzing nonstop. Group chat messages popping up. Some from friends at school, a few from people I barely talked to. One text read, Bro, you on TikTok? It was Kaylee's account. She'd posted a short video of the Christmas tree, and the audio caught the gift handoff. Mom saying, hand the next one to Ryan. My, okay, Ryan's low voice. And then the front door slam. No faces, but you could hear everything. The caption just said Christmas vibes with a snowflake emoji, but the comments came fast. Wait, is this Jason's family? That sounded like his mom El Mao. Bro, I know that voice. Somebody asked straight up, this at your house? Kaylee didn't reply. Didn't deny it either. just kept posting her usual videos. That was enough for people to assume it was us. By evening, somebody screen recorded it and threw it on Snapchat. Now the whole school saw it. Ryan texted me. Didn't know she was recording. My bad. I told him it wasn't his fault. Later that night, my Aunt Megan called Dad. She said Grandma was furious after hearing about the presents. Dad didn't bring the console up again. Apparently, Mrs. Connolly, the neighbor who saw through the window, told half the block before lunch. By dinner, it reached my mom's side of the family too. Grandma called me herself later. Said she didn't understand what my mom was thinking. She told Dad straight up she'd back him if things went legal. Back at Dad's, things stayed calm. He didn't talk about Mom unless I brought it up. Mostly, he asked about homework, if I was hungry, stuff like that. One night, he brought home a cheap bed frame from Craigslist and said we'd pick up a mattress on Saturday. Console can wait, he told me. You need a place to sleep first. I didn't argue. It made sense. That weekend, Grandma came over. She brought a lamp for my room and a bag of groceries Dad didn't ask for. While Dad was unloading the car, she told me straight, if this goes to court, I'm telling them exactly what she did. I nodded. Didn't really know what to say. On Sunday, Ryan called me from the garage at Mom's house. Could hear the basketball bouncing in the background. She's mad at me now too, he said, because I told her I felt weird keeping your stuff. What did she say? I asked. She said I was feeding drama, he muttered. Whatever. I didn't even keep the game. It's still in the box. That surprised me. Where? My closet, he said. Didn't even open it. We didn't talk long because Mom came outside, and he hung up quick. Monday morning, Dad got a call from Mom. He put it on speaker so I could hear. She said, You think you look good letting him run off like that? Everyone's acting like I abused him. Dad stayed calm. Linda, you took every gift he had and donated the console in front of him. You don't know what parenting looks like, she snapped. Maybe, Dad said, but I know what a judge is going to say when they hear the recording. She went quiet, then hung up. That afternoon, Dad showed me the video from his phone. It covered the console argument. Him trying to give me the console, Mom blocking it, telling him I didn't deserve it, and then her storming out. The present handoff part was only on Kaylee's TikTok. He said, I'm keeping this for court. I just nodded. By midweek, Dad called a lawyer. Not doing this back and forth anymore, he told me. We're filing for custody. I didn't argue. By Monday, the TikTok wasn't just on Snapchat anymore. Someone posted it on Instagram with the caption, Christmas canceled, and tagged Kaylee. That's when things at school got bad. At lunch, 2 guys from the basketball team sat near me and said loud enough for everyone to hear, So you really had to give all your stuff to Ryan? I didn't answer. Another kid laughed. Man, I heard she took the console too. That for real? I threw my trash away and left without saying anything. Ryan texted me that night. People won't shut up about it. Coach even asked if it was true. He wrote another message. Some kid called me the thief of Christmas during warm-ups. Whole team laughed. I asked what he said back. Nothing, he wrote. But this is messed up. I didn't want the stuff in the first place. He added, Steve apparently told Mom maybe the kids wouldn't be dealing with this if she'd just let it go on Christmas. She accused him of taking their side now. Kaylee started turning her comments off on TikTok. She didn't say why, but I saw screenshots in the group chat. People were asking if she kept the hoodie and whether she felt bad. One comment said, You posted the whole thing, then kept the gifts? She never replied. On Wednesday, Mom showed up at school. Not for me, for the principal. I heard about it from a teacher later. She stormed into the office demanding they handle the harassment because lies were spreading. By the time I got home from Dad's, 3 different people had texted saying they heard her yelling about fake stories and ungrateful kids. The principal told her they couldn't control off-campus posts, but they did tighten things at school. Hall monitors started shooing kids away when the video came up in the halls. My counselor checked in with me and Ryan, and the office emailed teachers a reminder about the harassment policy. Online stuff stayed messy. On campus, it calmed down a notch. Ryan called me that night from the garage again. She's mad at me too, he said. Basketball thumped in the background. Because I told her people at school won't stop asking me about it. What did she say? I asked. She said I should ignore it and stop feeding drama, he muttered. Like it's my fault. He told me later that Steve said the whole TikTok thing was embarrassing enough without her making scenes at school. She told him to mind his own business. Next day, one of my teachers pulled me aside before class. You doing okay? He asked. I said yeah. He nodded. Just making sure. My niece goes here. She said she saw some video about your family. Great. Now even teachers knew. Friday night, Dad brought home a sturdier bed frame and a mattress, replacing the futon and the rickety Craigslist frame. I didn't argue. Saturday morning, Grandma came by again. She handed Dad a folder and said, I printed everything before it got deleted. On inside were screenshots from TikTok, Instagram, and a group chat where Kaylee's friends were talking about the Christmas thing. We kept the chain of evidence simple. A screen record of Kaylee's TikTok for the present handoff, Dad's phone video for the console fight, and Grandma's printed screenshots of posts and comments. Copies lived on Dad's phone, my email, and Grandma's folder. So even if something got deleted online, we still had it. Judge should see this, Grandma said. Dad nodded. Sunday evening, Dad told me he scheduled a meeting with a lawyer for the custody case. Video plus this online stuff, he said, tapping the folder, makes it pretty clear what happened. Meanwhile, things at Mom's house kept getting worse. Ryan said people at practice started calling him Grinch Jr. One kid joked loud enough for Coach to hear, better not open your birthday presents in front of Ryan. Coach told them to knock it off, but the name stuck. Kaylee started spending weekends at my Aunt Megan's place. Kaylee calls her Aunt Megan too. Ryan said Mom acted like it didn't bother her, but she kept asking Kaylee why she didn't want to stay home. Kaylee just said she liked it better there. Ryan told me she doesn't want to deal with the comments at school or the drama at home. Can't blame her. Monday afternoon, Dad got an email from Mom. She wrote that I should come home because things have calmed down. Dad replied with one sentence. We'll let the judge decide. That night, Ryan sent me a picture. It was the video game I was supposed to get, still sealed in the box, sitting on his desk. Didn't even open it, he wrote. Feels wrong. Next day, at practice, one of the kids asked Ryan if he gave it back yet. He told them no, because Mom wouldn't let him. Kid said, Man, your mom's wild. Ryan didn't argue. Wednesday evening, Dad showed the lawyer two files. A screen recording of Kaylee's TikTok, the present handoff, and his phone video, the console argument. Clear as day. Mom telling me to hand everything over. Ryan saying it didn't feel right. Her yelling at him to stop feeding drama. Then her fighting with Dad about the console before storming out. The lawyer said, This helps. Shows it wasn't just frustration, it was planned. Dad nodded. Exactly. By the end of the week, Dad filed the custody paperwork. Ryan texted me later. She's furious about court, slamming doors all night. I didn't answer right away. I was looking at the folder Grandma gave Dad. Printouts of comments, screenshots, everything lined up like evidence. It didn't feel like just family drama anymore. But the first custody hearing date came faster than anyone expected. Dad's lawyer sent over a list of what we needed. Video evidence, screenshots, witness statements. Grandma was already on it, printing things like she was preparing for trial herself. Ryan texted me the night before. She's making speeches about how Dad's gonna lose embarrassingly. I asked what that meant. He wrote, She keeps saying judges hate deadbeat dads, and she's gonna tell them everything about him owing money years ago. Next morning, the courthouse waiting area felt tense. Mom sat across the room with Steve next to her, arms crossed. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. Ryan and Kaylee were on the bench beside them, both staring at the floor. Mom spotted me with Dad and Grandma and said loud enough for everyone, Unbelievable. Dragging children through this because he wants to play Disney Dad on weekends. Steve put a hand on her arm. Linda, maybe just... She shook him off. No, I'm not sitting here acting like I'm the villain. Dad didn't respond. Inside the courtroom, Mom talked fast like she was auditioning for something. Told the judge Dad barely showed up for years, that I was out of control, that she was the only stable parent. Steve sat beside her, eyes on the floor. Dad's lawyer asked about Christmas. Mom waved her hand. Oh, please. It was one morning. He embarrassed me in front of family. Actions have consequences. The lawyer first played a screen record of Kaylee's TikTok. You could hear Mom directing the gift handoff and the door slam. Then he played Dad's phone video, the console argument from when he arrived, and Mom storming out. Judge raised his eyebrows. This was on Christmas morning? Steve shifted in his seat, looking down at his shoes. Mom crossed her arms. He thinks one sarcastic comment gives him the right to humiliate me? Number. My house, my rules. Grandma shook her head like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Steve stared straight ahead, jaw tight. Then Mom jumped in. They're teenagers. They don't understand parenting decisions. I was teaching respect. Judge leaned forward. By taking every gift on Christmas morning? Mom didn't answer right away. Then she said, Maybe I expect some gratitude in my own house. Steve looked over at her for the first time, frowning. Aunt Megan called Dad that night. Said Mom was blowing up the family group chat, calling everyone traitors for taking my side. Megan told her to calm down, and Mom replied, "Easy for you to say when your kid doesn't humiliate you in front of people." Grandma finally left the chat completely. Next week, Mom showed up at my school during lunch, slammed her car door, marched across the courtyard, told me loud enough for half the tables to hear, "You think living with him's gonna be fun? He can't handle you. You'll come crawling back." One of my friends muttered, "What is wrong with her?" as she stormed off. Back at Dad's, the lawyer asked for written statements from Ryan and Kaylee. Both sent them that night. Ryan wrote about being teased at practice. Kaylee wrote about Mom yelling at her for the TikTok instead of caring she was upset. When Dad told me they sent them, I asked why. Ryan texted back, "Because she won't shut up about how she's the victim. I'm over it." Next hearing, Mom tried bringing up old stuff about Dad. Missed birthdays years ago, late payments once when he switched jobs. Judge cut her off. "We're here about current living conditions," he said, "not ancient history." She tried interrupting again, saying, "But he—" Judge raised his hand. "Enough." Mom sat back like she'd been personally attacked. Steve rubbed his forehead like he was tired of being there. After court, she cornered Ryan and Kaylee in the parking lot. "You made me look abusive," she hissed. Ryan said, "You did that yourself." She pointed at him like she was scolding a toddler. "Watch your mouth." He walked off without answering. Kaylee followed him to Steve's truck. Steve looked at Mom and said flatly, "You're not helping yourself." Mom glared at him. "Thanks for the support," she said sarcastically. That night, she texted me paragraphs about how I was turning everyone against her and letting Dad control the narrative. I didn't answer. By the end of the month, Dad said the lawyer felt good about our case. Too many witnesses, too much proof, and Mom couldn't stop making herself look worse every time she opened her mouth. I didn't celebrate yet, but Ryan texted me, "If you get out, good for you. I wish we could too." The last custody hearing happened 2 weeks later. Mom showed up in another loud outfit, bright green this time, like she was trying to prove a point. Steve trailed behind her carrying paperwork. Ryan and Kaylee walked in quietly, sat on the bench near Dad and me instead of next to her. That told the judge a lot before anyone said a word. Inside, Dad's lawyer replayed both clips, the TikTok audio of the present handoff and Dad's video of the console fight. Judge asked if there was any disagreement about its accuracy. Mom started to talk, but Steve cut in softly, "It's real, Your Honor." She whipped her head toward him. "Whose side are you on?" she hissed. The judge cut in, flat and calm, "That's enough." Then came the written statements. Ryan said he felt guilty keeping my gifts, that Mom refused to let him return them, that kids at school teased him so much he stopped going to lunch with the team. Kaylee wrote about the TikTok, how she turned off comments because people were making fun of her family, how Mom yelled at her instead of asking if she was okay. Mom sat there arms crossed like the whole thing was beneath her. Grandma testified last. She said Christmas was supposed to be about family, not control, and she didn't recognize the way Mom acted anymore. Mom interrupted halfway through. "Oh, please, you've always liked Mark better anyway." Judge told her if she spoke out again, she'd be removed. In the hallway during a break, Mom cornered Steve. "You're useless," she snapped. "Just sitting there while everyone attacks me." Steve kept his voice low. "Linda, you're attacking yourself. You don't stop." She stared at him like he betrayed her. When the judge came back with the decision, Mom sat up straighter like she expected to win. "Temporary full custody to the father," the judge said. "Visitation schedule to be determined later. I'm concerned about the emotional environment at the mother's home." Mom shot out of her seat. "You're punishing me for parenting. This is ridiculous." Judge ignored her and moved on to the next case. Outside, Mom lit into Ryan and Kaylee. "You threw me under the bus in there," Ryan said. "No, we told the truth." Kaylee stayed behind him, arms crossed. Steve finally spoke up. "Linda, stop yelling at them in parking lots. You look unhinged." She glared at him. "Oh, so you're done pretending to support me?" He didn't answer. Just walked Ryan and Kaylee to the truck. After that day, things at Mom's house cracked fast. Ryan started staying at Aunt Megan's some weekends. Mom called them ungrateful, loud enough for neighbors to hear. Steve stopped coming home for dinner, started working later, sleeping in the guest room. One night, Ryan texted me. She told Steve he can leave if he doesn't like it. Next day, his basketball bag and Kaylee's suitcase were in Steve's truck. I saw them the following weekend when Dad took me to Ryan's game. Steve sat with Aunt Megan in the bleachers. Kaylee waved at me but didn't go near Mom, who stood off to the side scowling at everyone. After the game, Ryan walked right past her to Steve's truck. Kaylee followed. Mom yelled after them, "Fine, go live with him. See if I care." Nobody looked back. Dad got permanent custody about 6 weeks later. Mom didn't really contest after the temporary order. The judge cited the Christmas incident, school fallout, both recordings and the kids' statements. Steve moved out officially 2 weeks after the ruling. He left the couch, some dishes, and one of his work jackets hanging by the door. Took everything else, including Ryan and Kaylee. Aunt Megan told Dad later that Mom called everyone traitors again, then stopped answering texts when nobody agreed with her. By spring, she was living alone. No Ryan, no Kaylee, no me. Steve filed for divorce quietly. Mom posted a long Facebook rant about fake family and people poisoning kids against their own mother. Comments were mostly cousins telling her to stop airing it online. At school, things calmed down fast. Ryan wasn't Grinch Jr. anymore. Kaylee deleted half her TikToks. I stopped getting questions in the hallways. Coach asked once if things were better at home. I said yeah. He nodded and changed the subject to practice drills. By summer, Dad set up my room properly. Painted walls, new shelves, actual desk that didn't wobble. Ryan came over sometimes. Kaylee too. Steve dropped them off but didn't stay long. Mom never showed up. Last I heard, she was still in that house alone. Neighbors said she stopped coming to block parties. Grandma didn't invite her to Easter. Aunt Megan told her flat out, "You did this to yourself." Mom hung up on her. At the first basketball game of the next season, Dad sat with Steve, Ryan, and Kaylee in the stands. I saw Mom standing near the bleachers alone. When the game ended, I walked past her to Dad's car without stopping. She didn't say anything. That was the last time I saw her. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.